Hey all, Tech Pterodon here. Today we are going to add a new program that just came out called Felt. So what is Felt? So Felt is the best way to make maps on the internet, or this is how they describe themselves. So Felt is a simple and easy way that people can create maps. So before now, you would have probably used something like Google My Maps, maybe something called Snazzy Maps to mark up a map, leave little notes, find different locations. But there really wasn't a good way to use things like a marker or highlighter, not super easy to share. And so Felt is a new app on the web that is basically trying to make it easier to share those maps and create them. So let's dive right into some examples. What can you do with Felt? There's some examples that they have here. Here you can see a map that is talking about a fuel break somewhere in California. You can see that they've put a little legend here with different things that are going on in the different areas, so you can zoom in. They are actually using the topography map, so you can see the different lines here. Maybe this is helpful for firefighters. And the neat thing about Felt is that people can collaborate. So you'll see a lot of different people up here on this particular map. So you could imagine different fire crews leaving notes as they're working on this area together to help each other out. Or you could also do community-based maps like this. So people mapping out Russian attacks in the Ukraine. So you can see the legend here and the different things that they have. So pretty neat that you can use this for some pretty serious and important things. But I think a lot of the ways that I might think about using this particular map is just for fun. So let's do a little example here. So when you are in Felt, you can always click on the top left and choose the option for a new map. And once you click into the new map, it's going to give you this view. So you can give this a name. We're going to plan for day 1 in San Francisco. Let's say that we're planning an upcoming trip to San Francisco. And so you can always search for locations by clicking in the top right. So using this little eyeglass here. So I'm going to start our day in the ferry building. Once you click on the ferry building, you can see the dot has been created over here. If you're familiar with using maps on the computer, you can zoom into that pretty easily. And if you click on these items, you can actually change the name of this. So I might just change this to say start here. And what's neat about this is you can change these icons. So it's using just basic emojis here. We might put something like maybe building just to show that we're going to be starting in this building over here at the ferry building. So it leaves that there. And if you wanted to, you could leave some notes. So we have a couple different options here. If you click this option for a note, it will pop up a text box that you can change the color on. We might say grab breakfast here at 8 a.m. So you can drag that box. If you click on it with one click, you can then drag that over. You can resize it if you want to. And so this is going to be the starting point for the day. So let's say now that after we start our day at the ferry building, we are going to walk along this waterfront or the Embarcadero up here to Coit Tower. So what you can do is you can actually click this route button, and it's going to allow you to set points. So we are going to be walking. Let's say we're going to give that a yellow color. So we're going to click and just drag all the way up here. So you don't have to hold anything down. I'm just moving my cursor along here. I'm going to set another point. And then it's snapping all of these routes into place, which is really neat. So it's just following the roads there. That might be the best way to get over to this point up here. And so once I've clicked again, you can see it's given this path from the ferry building all the way up to the tower. And let's say I wanted to say that this is our next point. So I'll use that pin symbol again to drop that in here. And I will give it a quick little icon because those are pretty neat. And we'll say visit tower. Now let's say we wanted to just add some fun things here. So you can use the marker This marker will let you do things like draw arrows or notes or whatever you want to do here. So here's my poorly drawn arrow. And let's say we wanted to put in a picture of what this view looks like. Maybe we're sharing it with people who don't even know what this tower looks like. So it's pretty simple. I would just come here, do a quick search for the tower, and I'm going to pull in this picture here. So I'm going to copy that image. And once I go back into Felt, pretty simple, just paste that in here. Oh, don't love that image quality, so I'll come back here. I'll actually grab the bigger one. There we go. And then once we drop in here, that's much better. So you've got this nice picture of what that view would look like for anyone who's maybe not familiar with that area. Okay, so once you've done that, and let's say the next place that we're going to go to is up here on Lombard Street. So again, we can click that route button and we can set our point. We can just drag it over here to Lombard Street and it's going to give us a path that's actually going to get us to the top of that windy road. And what's neat about this is maybe we'll add a text box here and we'll just leave a note, walk to Lombard. And you can change the color here. You can also resize these pretty easily. If you hover in the corner, you can actually rotate that so it lines up more nicely with the line that we've made there. And we have it to walk over to Lombard Street. So a couple other buttons down here. If you want to add media in, you can click that button. So maybe it's something on your desktop. You can choose that image. You can also add a link URL, so it'll pull that image in. Or you can upload, different elements here. So this is the more advanced feature. Maybe you already have a map made in Google Maps and you want to import that element in here. So you could choose that file and upload those. But for most people, you're going to be fine just using these. Okay, and so maybe we want to use this tool called the polygon tool. And what that does is that actually is going to let you create a highlighter type function that you can see here once I've set my points. And it lets us draw around things. And so in this example, I've circled this park that's at the top because maybe I want to call this out and say, hey, take some time and sit at this park. So the park at the top of Lombard has a pretty amazing view of the city. Now we should have some good views of what that park looks like. Okay, neat. So here we have some views of that park. There's a really good one. So we've got some neat tennis courts up here. So I'm going to take that image again and just drop that in here so you can see what that park actually looks like. And so again, I'll use that marker tool, create an arrow there, and I'll add another text box to say, shoot some hoops. Park. And again, I can change the color of that to make it whatever I would like. And so we can highlight that section. So another cool feature you can do here is, if you were actually trying to highlight certain buildings, maybe, we live in one of these apartments close to the park, you can choose this option to clip. And what it's going to do is create these nice little lines around buildings, which is a pretty cool feature. So I can actually click and highlight this building if that's what I wanted to do. Maybe it's multiple buildings. Maybe we're searching for apartments. So you can click on multiple buildings to say, hey, look at these buildings. Maybe they're potential apartments. So you can see that they've been clipped perfectly and you don't have to draw them like I did with the polygon tool that's down here. All right, so we have our day pretty well planned out, and that's most of the features here that they have so far. But you can also toggle on the satellite view, so you can actually see the outline of the park here, those tennis courts, which is pretty neat. So you can toggle that on or off. And the last feature that I'll talk about here is the layers feature. So the layers feature is going to let you add things like bicycle lanes, time zones, census blocks or tracks. These are probably really helpful for people building out those detailed maps. So for example, that map that we saw with the fire sort of boundaries would have been, more of this terrain map, pretty neat New York City subway system. So these look like they're going to be updated to get more and more layers over time. You can request different layers that are going to help build out these maps. Right. And the neat part about this is now that you can share it with other people to build on top of them. So if you were to click the share button, you can share it to the web so that anyone with the link can view it. And you can toggle this option to allow anyone who has that link to actually edit it. It'll give you a nice unique URL to use there. So once you are sharing that link, it's going to look something like this. So here's one I made of day 2 with the different views. Let's say I shared that link with, someone who's going on the trip with me. They would be able to pull up the same view and have all the options except the option to edit, which I left off here. So they could zoom in, see where we're going to start our day, see where we're going to go, and that person's shown up as the anonymous crab. If multiple people are making edits to the map, if you just hover over their name, you can actually see all of the edits that they made. So maybe you wanted to see, all of the different points. So if Anonymous Crab had made any edits, if it was able to be edited, you would then see the edits that they made in this location. So that is the review of Felt, pretty new tool that just came out last week. Had a lot of fun playing around with it. I think there's going to be a lot more features and work done to it. But overall, I think this is the easiest way to make really fun, simple maps to share with people. And I'm excited to see what new features come out. So thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing more reviews of different apps that are coming out, and have a great one.